But now let's move over to what's probably going to be, or probably is the favorite event now of All-Star Weekend. And this one honestly should be last. We'll talk about the latter in a moment. But next up is the three-point contest presented by Starry, which used to be Sierra Mist, but they rebranded or something of that sort. But nonetheless, here are the original contestants. One got taken out due to injury. I'll mention him in a second. But it is Tyrese Halliburton from the Indiana Pacers, Tyler Hero from the Miami Heat, Buddy Hield, former winner a couple of years ago of also the Indiana Pacers, Kevin Huerter of the Sacramento Kings, Damian Lillard, my boy Damian Lillard from the Portland Trailblazers. If you don't know, then can't help you there. Lauri Markkanen of the Utah Jazz, Jason Tatum of your Boston Celtics, John, and Anthony Simons, also of the Portland Trailblazers. I mentioned Anthony last because he apparently has an injury, so Julius Randle will be filling in for Anthony Simons here in the three-point contest. So I'm going to throw it back to you, John. Are you going with your boy Tatum, or are you taking someone else in the field?
Well, the three-point contest is also weird because, there's been so many years that like a Steph Curry or somebody like that's been in it, and you're like, they're totally going to win because he's the best three-point shooter. But that's not really what the three-point contest is, right? Because the best guy in an actual NBA game, that's all different than just sitting there shooting against the clock, basically. There's no defenders. There's also the money ball stuff that can really, sway things. So I don't know. I'm kind of looking at it of like, who do I think is a momentum shooter? I like Tatum. I'm not going to pick him. I think I'm going to go with Damian Lillard, Dame time. I don't know. I feel like he just hasn't really, unfortunately, because of the way that the Portland's been trending, hasn't had a lot of those marquee moments. And so maybe in front of the crowd, he'll want to put on a show, get a three-point championship under his belt. But I kind of also have a sneaky suspicion that like maybe Tyrese Halliburton will show out. He's a really good three-point shooter as well. Can maybe get some coaching from former champion Buddy Hield, who, also is competing. But I don't know. I think overall, who I'm going to pick to win, Damian Lillard. Think he's going to show up big time.
All right, I gotta accuse you real quick. Do you have the Vegas odds pulled up on? Because once again, you have picked, at least as of 8 hours ago, up for this site, the favorite.
I do not have the odds pulled up. In fact, I don't even have the contestants pulled up. Yeah. So if you asked me to relist all the people you said, I probably would forget one. But I'm not surprised that Dame's the favorite because I feel like that. I mean, if my common sense was Dame's one of the best three-point shooters, in my opinion, ever, personally, which I think is backed up statistically, but also like when Dame is hot, he is hot, right? And so when you think of like a three-point contest momentum building, like he's one of those guys that like when he starts hitting, he is just lights out.
Yeah. All true. So yes, Damian's the favorite. It was Anthony Simons actually, but obviously he's out. So and there's no odds for Julius Randle, unfortunately, per the site. So I'm assuming he's gonna be on the bottom. I love Julius, but I think deservedly probably he's gonna be on the bottom there. I would love to see Lauri win. Anyone that follows the podcast knows, big Lauri fan. But if I had to put money on it, I'm actually probably gonna go with Buddy just because he's won the event before. I'm sure everyone else has had their own kind of clips. I know Tatum had it, pre-draft where they hit X amount of threes, but that's already Buddy's role, is just to be a spot up guy. I know Kevin Huerter is too, but Buddy's, just I think a better sharpshooter. Once again, probably going to be wrong. I remember, was it 2 years ago when we both were counted out Mike Conley and he almost won. He almost won the whole thing. Luckily, Steph Curry showed up because we would look real bad. Not that anyone cared. I would go with Buddy. I don't think Tatum's going to take it too seriously. I think an important factor too is, and I don't have numbers to back this up, I just know it's been a thing, is sometimes these guys that are in the 3-point contest, I'm not sure if it's a contest or preparation, but afterwards their shooting numbers just typically fall, some of them. So I wouldn't be surprised if Tatum just doesn't really take it too seriously and is fine with whatever happens.
Also, hasn't he done it like... Isn't this? I think this is either his second or third time that he's been in it. I know there was the year that both him and Jaylen Brown made the All-Star game the first time together. I'm pretty sure they both did it that year, and I think he's maybe done it another time, and I don't think he's ever advanced far in it. I could be misremembering, But I just, off the top of my head, I don't think he's ever had like a successful 3-point contest run.
Yeah, I wish NBA.com would have stuff like that. Like stats like, oh, like he's previously been participated. Because unfortunately, I cannot remember off the top of my head. I can look it up, but I feel like you're right. I feel like they both were in that in previously. I know obviously Damian has. I think him and CJ were in it together at one point, I want to say, or maybe separate points. But yeah, I think just Tatum and Damian and Buddy, those three are the only people that have prior experience in this contest, because it is a little different, obviously, grabbing and shooting from a rack, which as opposed to having someone, you know, pass you the ball or shooting off dribble, which I wish they would kind of change that. I think that would be cool if you could pick a teammate that had the racks next to them and, you know, they're facing away from the basket, and you pick one teammate and they're your like specified passer throughout the whole thing. I feel like that would be better, but yeah, I unfortunately cannot pull up that previous history, but
it's all good. I know for sure Tatum has done it before, so I just don't know how many times he's done it. So, but yeah, I know he's done it before, and I'm pretty sure it was the year that Mike Conley went really far, and I might have even picked Tatum that year, but he did not do well.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens there. I'm going with Buddy Hield. John, you're going with Dame in regards to that. That's your final lock-in pick?
Yeah, lock-in pick Dame, but my sneaky underdog dark horse Tyrese Halliburton. I don't even know what the odds are for him, but
let me pull that up. I had that just right here. I think he was actually right behind Dame, so technically he's actually has the same odds as Dame. So once again, John,
really,
I'm just saying, like Vegas, maybe they need to start, you know, scouting you out, John. Maybe you need to be an odds setter for. I mean, because you've been on the money so far.
Yeah, anything Tyrese Halliburton does, I'm just a fan of. I would say that I'm firmly in the Tyrese Halliburton fan club.
Yeah, I will admit I wasn't a huge buyer on him coming out in the draft, but I obviously been proven wrong, and you've been proven right. So, yeah, just to finalize, my mind pick, thoughtful pick, going with Buddy Hield, but my heart pick, the person I'm going to be rooting for is Laurie. So we'll see what happens. And obviously Julius, but I don't have, like I said, I have the smallest amount of faith left in Julius Randle.